Hi, I'm Gianna, and today I will be telling you a little bit about myself through the use of this bag and the things that are inside it. There's going to be 4 items, and each of them are going to tell you a little bit about me. So the first item I have in the bag is my library card. And the reason I put my library card in the bag is because I made this library card because I work at the library. I specifically work in the kids section of the library. I work behind the desk and pretty much just check out books and put books on hold for people. And I also have to shelve books every day at the end of my shift. Everybody that I've worked with so far is super nice. Even though I'm like the youngest person there, all of them are pretty much just old, nice people. The next thing I have in my bag is this rock. And it's a pretty small rock and it's sparkly. But the reason I put this rock in my bag is because it's from my old high school. I remember one day in English class, my senior year, my teacher decided to take all of us outside to read to us. And I could not tell you what book she read, but I was just looking at the rocks instead of paying attention in class. And I picked it up because I have a lot of rocks in my room to decorate it, but none of them have like any significance to me. But this one is from my high school. So that's why I put it in the bag, because I grew up there and I made friends in high school. And I specifically remember this day because it was with one of my favorite teachers, even though I wasn't paying attention in class. The next thing I have in my bag is chapstick, which seems pretty basic, but it has meaning because every single time I look at chapstick, I think of my favorite teacher in high school. His name was Mr. Marino, and he was my AP Psych teacher. Although he was the worst teacher I have ever had in terms of actually teaching me anything, he was my favorite teacher because I was never in a bad mood whenever I stepped into his class. Everybody at my high school absolutely loved him and remembers him as being the best and like funniest guy. And I remember every single day walking into his class and thinking to myself that that is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and that he was somebody that I really looked up to and admired and wanted to be in the future. So that is why I'm majoring in history and hopefully eventually teaching AP Psychology in high school, or to high schoolers, because he inspired me to be like him every single day, to brighten some kid's day, but also I would like to actually teach people instead of just joking around. But the chapstick represents him because every single day, not every day, he would tell this stupid joke in class about how chapstick that he would find in the bathroom, and if anybody wanted it, and then he would proceed to like put it on even though it was just his chapstick. But nobody ever took it, but every single time we laughed even though we heard the same joke a million times. The last thing that I have in my bag is this ripped up piece of paper, but it's not just a ripped up piece of paper. It has the first draft of the most important speech that I ever gave, which was at my sister's wedding. I spoke in front of like 200 people and was absolutely terrified. I've never been more terrified in my entire life. And the only reason I did it is because my sister really wanted me to speak at her wedding. I put this in the bag because it reminds me how my social anxiety gets in the way sometimes of me actually being there for people and succeeding and really like living life to the fullest, because I was so scared. And at first I told her that I wasn't going to do it, but then I saw how upset she got, so I decided to suck it up and give a speech at her wedding. I remind myself every time that I have to talk in front of people that I talked in front of 200 people when I was a teenager, and that since I did that, like, I can talk to anybody and I can do anything. So yeah, it's just a reminder that I did that. And lastly, the bag that I used is this like hippie bag. And the reason I used this colorful hippie bag is because me and one of my really good friends go to this hippie store all the time, just as something to do. And every time I look at the bag or use the bag, I remember like us going shopping there and just like looking at stuff. And it's always a good time when we go. So yeah, that's it. That's a little bit about me.